Hey everybody, Pastor Sam here with your verse of the day for Gospel Gunslingers. We're in Proverbs today, chapter 25, verse 28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Got some broken down walls around me today to look at and think about. You know, in my hometown, the oldest house built with sawn lumber, that is, before that, all the houses were log cabins and hewn logs. So this was the first one with sawn lumber, and it's the Colonel Davenport House, which is on the Rock Island Arsenal today. So that's a little over 200 years old. Some of these historic buildings in the downtown district in this part of Latin America are 100 years older than that. And some of them are made out of mud and dust and stuff like that. So, you know, they do fall down eventually. Nothing's forever. But what we need to do is not have our life undefended by being incontinent, by being easily provocable. And the Gospel Gunslingers, of course, what we're studying is self-defense in the Bible and self-government. Self-government relying on self-defense and the use of force to throw out troublemakers. But, you know, we can't be easily provoked. So if you go over to the New Testament, talking about the construction, the construct of the body, the modern body of Christ or believers, it says in 1 Timothy 3:3, it says that the deacon, the elder, the bishop actually in English says should be no striker. That is, he can't be quickly provoked into a fist fight. Can't be caused quickly for his blood to boil. And then in the same verse, it continues and says that he must be no brawler. And then you go over to Titus, it says no striker again with another list of qualifications. So where's the truth lie? I mean, all the lisping girly man preachers would like us to believe that violence is never permissible. And really the truth is more violent and more frightful. You know, the Old Testament says that if anyone was worthy of stripes, he should be brought before the judge, condemned by the judge, and then beaten before the judge's face. So sometimes judges do get angry even today, but really they need to make decisions based on what is prescribed, based on what's written, based on a line that's been drawn in the sand a long, long time ago. It's not something that just happens in the moment. And really we need to be able to execute the punishment in hot blood, that is in rage, or in cold blood, that is when we're calm. It should be a decision, just like the judge calls the man before this judgment seat and says beat him. And the law of Moses, he would be beaten before the judge's face. So really the person that has to be in a rage, it has to get worked up. You know, some things are like that. You get into the world of intimacy, there's involuntary biological functions, and those have to build up. But we're talking about things that are voluntary, the exercise of the will, the seat of judgment and of decision, and it should not be easily provoked. We should be able to make decisions cold, and the person that cannot pull the trigger in cold blood, that is when he's calm, that person hasn't hunted much. They haven't put meat on the table. They haven't sat for hours and hours knowing that, okay, this opportunity is going to present itself and I've got 1 second to make the shot. And you know what? People that fly into a rage so easily, they're really easy to defeat. It's a weakness. That's how we kill lions and tigers and bears, is we provoke them to the rage that is typical of their kind. And that's when you spear them. You have to bait them into a charge. You have to be the bullfighter and wave the red cape and provoke them, not the other way around. We don't want to be the person that they can wave the red cape and get us to do some, violent act. We can't be that person. So look at your life, whether your walls are broken down, whether you make major decisions and life decisions that you'll live with the consequences of for the rest of your life. Do you make those decisions based on what's prescribed? Do you make those moral judgments ahead of time or not? One more little story. We used to have a move that we were taught called iponukite, and it was an eye strike where we would strike the eye and pull the eyeball out. As a kid, you know, we always wondered if that even would work. Well, there was a lady black belt that studied in my school, and she even told a very close friend of hers, she said, you know, I've studied and I've studied, but I just don't know if I could use force when the moment came. Well, she was out with her husband one day and with her little baby, and they fell among thieves. And these thieves attacked, they were beating her husband senseless. And she was holding a little baby, and the man opened the car door that she was in and reached for the baby. And when that happened, her motherly instinct kicked in. She hit that guy Ippon Nuki tape, pop! And his eyeball just literally exploded with a squirt of vitreous. And the guy screamed like a girl, realizing he'd lost his eye forever. And she, of course, began to pound them. And he took care of that man, and then the man that was beating her husband, she worked them both over, and then they left running. So I guess she was fortunate, but a student of mine, I teach them you make the decisions ahead of time. And of course, grabbing a kid from right under your nose, that's way, way across the line. So y'all think about it. Don't be like a city without walls that's broken down. Don't be easily provoked, but know when you're gonna do like Tano Pirano, what it's gonna take to cause you to go from 0 to 100 miles an hour in 1 second. Be ready to do it. That's your verse of the day for Gospel Gunslingers.